I've been skeptical of the rumors. I've even flat out denied the rumors. But, like it or not, Six Flags has confirmed that Kingda Ka, the world's tallest and second fastest roller coaster, will be retired. Six Flags also announced the removal of Green Lantern and the old parachute tower at Six Flags Great Adventure, and the removal of La Víbora at Six Flags Over Texas. However, as hard as it is to say goodbye to these iconic attractions, we can at least look forward to saying a few hellos. We don't have too many details yet, but many Six Flags parks, including Great Adventure and Over Texas, will be working on some intriguing projects for the 2026 season. Good day everyone, my name is Parker, and this is Theme Park Parlay, the AWP series where we discuss all things theme parks. In today's episode, we're going to talk about these announcements, including my personal sentiments on the news, and speculate on what each park might be planning. There are still so many unanswered questions here, but hopefully we can narrow things down just a bit through this discussion. So, without any further ado, let's talk theme parks. Real quick, before we get into today's video, I want to talk about this cool initiative that I'm doing called Movember. For those of you who haven't heard of Movember, they're a global charity that raises funds and awareness for men's health, mental health, and suicide prevention. A lot of men struggle silently with their mental health and struggle to access the support and resources that they need. Movember works to change that and stop men from dying too young. Now, I'll be the first to admit that mustache growing isn't really a skill I excel at, but it's honestly coming in a lot better than I expected. In any case, the important part of all this is that I'm working to raise $400 this month. I've already passed the halfway mark, which is absolutely incredible, and if you'd like to help me reach this goal, I'll have a link down in the description where you can donate. Now, I'm not sponsored by Movember or anything, but this is a cause that I'm very passionate about, and because I'm so fortunate to have the platform that I do on here, I'm also committing to donating at least half of the revenue that I earn on YouTube this month. So just by being here and watching this video, you're helping me make a difference in men's mental health. So thank you for being here. Now, on with the show. Alright everyone, welcome to Theme Park Parlay. It's been a hot minute since I've done one of these episodes, but we've got a whopper of a story to unpack here. As such, I think it's only fair that we start from the beginning. Rumors that Six Flags Great Adventure would be removing Kingda Ka and Green Lantern in the near future emerged in late September. Kingda Ka, of course, is a 456-foot tall Intamin Stratocoaster that opened as the tallest and fastest roller coaster in the world. And Green Lantern is a B&M stand-up coaster that originally opened at Kentucky Kingdom as Chang, but was relocated to Great Adventure in 2011 following the closure of that park. The reason for these removals was cited to be operating costs, as Kingda Ka allegedly costs the park over $1 million to run every year. As for Green Lantern, I mean, it's 28 years old, so it's probably getting close to the end of its service life. But the biggest reason for its removal probably has to do with the fact that it's adjacent to Kingda Ka, which gives the park a larger plot of land to work with for whatever replaces these rides. But more on that later. Initially, it seemed like these rides would still be safe for the 2025 season, but that time frame got shorter and shorter over the coming weeks. Although we don't know the exact origin of this rumor, it can be assumed that the intel was given to some big-name coaster creators by some park insiders, who then did this community a wonderful service by getting that news out while maintaining the anonymity of these sources. All the while, Six Flags remained silent. I do have to say, I've been skeptical of these rumors from the beginning, but sure or not, I appreciated what these creators were trying to do. Now, within the last few weeks, a few enthusiasts reached out to the park for answers and received replies assuring them that rumors regarding the ride's closure were not accurate and that Kingda Ka would return for the 2025 season. And this is the part that makes me upset with Six Flags. It's one thing to stay silent on the matter and not give the community any public warning about the closure, given the legendary status of Kingda Ka, I believe that it deserved to be sent off with some fanfare and, I don't know, dignity. Of course, there's certainly a strong argument to be made against announcing the closure. From a PR standpoint, it keeps the negative press cycle short, and from a maintenance perspective, Ka was pretty unpredictable, which could just lead to a disappointing and chaotic closing day if things went awry. But that's just it. If you're going to avoid talking about the closure to avoid negative press, keep your mouth shut. Don't send these emails giving people false hope. But even without any public announcement, coaster enthusiasts still showed up on that alleged final day to pay their respects and enjoy one final ride on Kingda Ka in what looked like a passionate, albeit unofficial, farewell. And here is the point where speculations became facts. On November 12th, public permits filed with Jackson Township were uncovered, confirming the removal of Green Lantern, the Parachute Tower, and Great Adventures Huss Topspin Twister. No word about Kingda Ka. Then, on the morning of November 14th, 2024, Six Flags Entertainment Corporation issued a press release announcing a $1 billion investment into their parks over the next 2 years to enhance guest experiences. This included teases for several parks within the chain, but we'll get to that in a moment. At the same time, Six Flags Great Adventure issued their own statement confirming once and for all that Kingda Ka and Green Lantern would be removed. However, they also talked about their new for 2025 edition, the Flash Vertical Velocity, a first of its kind in North America Vekoma Super Boomerang that was supposed to open this year but got pushed back, and the big news here, that they would be opening a new multi-world record-breaking launch coaster the following season in 2026. Listen, I'll be sad to see something as iconic as Kingda Ka go. And although Green Lantern had a reputation for being rough, I always had a soft spot for it.
Those are called bruises, you idiot.
Whatever. But you know what? The parks are constantly changing. Rides come and rides go. And then something else comes along to start the cycle all over again. And this launch coaster has me intrigued. First of all, I'm so glad that whatever replaces Kingda Ka is going to be a launch coaster. A lot of people in the community offered up ideas that the combined plot of Ka and Green Lantern would offer enough room for a B&M Giga, something like Fury 325, and as amazing of a ride as that could have been, I just don't see it as being a worthy successor. To me, it had to be a launch coaster. Of course, we're still missing a lot of information here. Who's the manufacturer? What kind of launch will it have? What kind of trains will it have? How tall will it be? And what records will it break? I have so many thoughts on this, but here are some of my main ideas. I do think that this ride is going to be, at the very least, a giga-sized coaster. If not a strata, I don't think the park would remove a coaster of this magnitude without replacing it with something huge. We also know that the removal of both Kingda Ka and Green Lantern offers the park a ton of space to work with, so it's not a stretch to assume that they're going to go big with this. And again, they're already opening a launch coaster in 2025 with the Flash, so this 2026 edition needs to differentiate itself from that. As for the launch system, I would imagine this would be some sort of LSM launch coaster, but an air launch system from SNS also isn't outside the realm of possibility. LSMs would be the safer, more reliable option, but an air launch offers a strong acceleration that would compensate for the loss of Ka's hydraulic launch with something different, but of equal intensity. That said, I have a feeling that reliability will win this one out. So yeah, launch coaster, extended layout with big stats. The only other question is, will Kingda Ka's top hat be preserved? Well, in the time that it took me to edit this video, I found out that the answer is no. Apparently, someone had reached out to the park asking about the fate of Zumanjaro, the world's tallest drop tower that was fixed to the structure of Kingda Ka, and confirmed that it will be closing, which tells us that, more likely than not, the entire structure is coming down. We also know that the announcement states that this new coaster was going to be a completely new addition, so that also tells us that the old top hat probably won't be preserved. Again, all of this is purely speculation, And hey, there's always the possibility that those people online suggesting a Stratomac Extreme Spinner are onto something. Who knows? Now, Great Adventure isn't the only Six Flags park out there seeing some major removals and additions. Six Flags Over Texas has also confirmed the removal of their Intamin bobsled coaster, La Vibora. This is another sad closure, because it was the last remaining Intamin bobsled coaster that was still in operation. However, Six Flags Over Texas will soon be welcoming a new record-breaking dive coaster. Six Flags has been adding quite a few of these dive coasters recently, with Dr. Diabolical's Cliffhanger opening at Six Flags Fiesta Texas in 2022, Iron Menace opening this year in 2024, and the Rack of Rakshasa opening at Six Flags Great America next year in 2025. A common trend amongst these coasters is an increase in the drop angle beyond 90 degrees, so I imagine they will go for this record as well. I hope, anyways. I'm gonna be straight up with you, I'm a Wonderland loyalist, and I just don't want to see them take the height and length records from Yukon Striker. I'm just kidding, sort of. But in any case, dive coasters are always a hit with the general public, and with La Vibora being situated so close to the park's entrance, it'll certainly make for a mesmerizing entrance statement. Now for the other parks. We are severely lacking details, but let's go through them quickly and brainstorm what each of these announcements might entail. Carowinds is set to introduce a record-breaking water ride. That's awesome, because since the removal of Rip Roarin' Rapids in 2018, the park has been missing a water ride. We know they're getting a splash battle in 2025, so I imagine this will be some sort of modern log flume or water coaster. It might even be one of those new launch flume rides that manufacturers are starting to come out with. My home park, Canada's Wonderland, will be adding a new record-breaking water attraction. Notice how it's an attraction and not a ride. This subtle change in wording makes things a little more elusive, but it makes me think that it'll be something outside of the realm of log flumes. My main thought here is that it could be a water slide. We know from our conversation with Peter at Rollercoasters A that the park is planning on adding an additional slide to the Moosehorn Falls platform. And if I were to have my choice, I think Wonderland would benefit from a water coaster. Another possibility is some sort of interactive water attraction. Think about something like the Journey of Water at Epcot, where guests could walk through and play around with different water features. Or perhaps, even though I would consider this a ride, we're getting a splash battle like Carowinds. Given the emphasis Wonderland has been putting on theming over the past decade, I can see a number of different ways that any of these attractions could be incorporated. Kings Island will receive a family thrill attraction. Again, the word attraction is interesting because it doesn't specify that it'll be a coaster, so this could be anything really. My initial thought, however, is that if it is a coaster, it'll probably be similar to Great Bear Mountain at Dollywood or even Icebreaker at SeaWorld Orlando. And if that's the case, this might just be the long-awaited Vortex replacement. But of course, I might be way off here and it could be a flat ride. The wording is just so ambiguous here, I honestly don't know for this one. Here's an interesting one. Six Flags Magic Mountain will receive a coaster that will be the first of its kind in North America. We know that Magic Mountain has been working on something for the past year or so. Construction walls allude to something themed to birds with a slight steampunk aesthetic. Yeah, I don't know. For the longest time, I assumed that this would be another dive coaster, but if it's the first of its kind in North America, it's not that. My guess is either an SNS Access coaster, a model that currently only exists in the Middle East, or a Max Striker coaster, like Europa Park's newly opened Voltron Nevera. Whatever this may be, this project has my attention. Six Flags Great America will be celebrating its 50th anniversary in 2026, and will be marking the occasion by debuting a new kids area, commemorative events, and park enhancements. These anniversaries are so exciting, and although they're not debuting any huge coaster, a new kids area would be interesting. The only question now is, will this be something they build from the ground up, or a replacement for one of their existing kids areas? This is also one of the first major kids-oriented projects since the merger, so the big question here is a matter of theming. Is this going to be a DC area, akin to the big project they're working on at Fiesta Texas? Or will they be doing something radical by introducing Camp Snoopy? Let's be real, it'll probably be DC, but anything is possible. Six Flags Mexico will introduce a family thrill boomerang coaster, more than likely something from Vekoma. If you aren't familiar with this model, it's the same kind of coaster as Good Gravy at Holiday World and Snoopy's Soapbox Racers at Kings Island. And finally, Not Soak City will receive a water park refresh and aesthetic enhancements. The press release also states that the capital investments will go far beyond new rides. More than $80 million of the overall 2-year spend will go toward food and beverage upgrades, including new restaurant concepts and improved menu offerings. This is good to hear, because as awesome and exciting as everything else we mentioned above is, that kind of unsexy spend is equally, if not more, important. There's no point to having a park full of world-class rides if the rest of your park experience is miserable. Many of the legacy Cedar Fair parks have made huge strides in their food departments over the past few years, so it'll be great to see this trend continue as they introduce new menu items and hopefully make their menus more accessible as well. I truly believe that this entire billion-dollar investment is going to be a huge boost for the parks. Yes, some of these additions come at a cost, and I don't like how some of these removals are being handled. However, being the optimist that I am, I will reserve my full judgment until we hear more about these 2026 projects. And I'm hopeful that some of the heartache we're feeling right now will prove to be worth it. But what are your thoughts on all of this? Which of these additions are you most looking forward to? And do you agree or disagree with my ideas and speculations? Comment below and let me know. If you enjoyed this video and want to see more theme park discussion, plus vlogs from all of my adventures, please consider becoming a subscriber. You can also find me on social media as @ADVParker on Instagram, Threads, and Blue Sky, and @AdventuresWithParker on Facebook and TikTok. As always, big shout out to my Patreon supporters, Dominic and Chris, for your continued support. And if you're interested in supporting the channel for as little as $1 a month in exchange for some sweet perks and bonus content, check out patreon.com/ADVParker to learn more. Of course, as I said at the beginning of the video, I'm currently raising funds for Movember in support of men's health, mental health, and suicide prevention. So if you're interested in helping me support that cause and reach my $400 goal, you can find a link in the description of this video to donate. Once again, thank you so much for joining me, and until next time, the adventures are calling. Bye! Launch coaster, extended layout with big thats.